Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk about the modular wall spawn feature, which allows you to easily spawn walls inside a scene. Now, this is a feature which I have already covered in other videos, but the latest update brings some changes, which simplifies the setup process quite a bit. So I just want to make sure you're aware of the latest changes, so you know how to use the feature properly. Okay, so I have a really basic floor setup here, and let's just say that I want to enclose this region with walls. We could use the modular snap tool to manually place the walls, but there's this tool here. It's called Modular Walls, which allows you um, to easily spawn walls around the edges with automatic corner detection and stuff like that. So if you look at the inspector, you can see we have this field called Modular Wall Prefab Profile. It's currently set to default. So in order to use this feature, we first need to create a wall prefab profile. So I'm going to go to Tools, GSpawn, Windows, Modular Wall Prefabs. I'm going to put it right here. And the way it works is that you first have to create, you can see we have this field called example prefab. So you first have to create an example prefab, which tells the plugin how the wall pieces fit together, right? It's basically a sample of the structure of the wall. Okay, so let's go ahead and create this example prefab. I'm gonna switch to selection mode, and I'm gonna search for the walls and arches library, and I'm gonna search for wall. Okay, I'm gonna use this wall piece right here. I'm gonna drag and drop it in the scene. You can place it anywhere. I'm gonna place it right here, and then I'm gonna search for the inner corner. There you go. This is the inner corner. Drag and drop. Press Y to rotate. There you go. Let's tackle the outer corner. This is it. Drag and drop. Rotate. Now I'm gonna take this middle piece right here. Press Ctrl D to duplicate. Press D to enable snapping. Y to rotate and place it in place right here. Then press Ctrl D to duplicate. D to enable snapping. Place it right here. Right, so this is how a wall example prefab should look like. This is not a prefab yet. This is just objects in the scene, but we're gonna turn this into a prefab. Now, before we continue, you have to select the inner corner prefab. Press Shift C, and you can see that. So when you press Shift C, the prefab will get selected in the prefab manager, and you have to set the tag to wall inner corner. That's it. All right. So the wall, the kind of wall that we built here is called an L corner config because it uses L-shaped prefabs for the corners. There's another configuration which is called segment. It uses segments to simulate the existence of inner and outer corners, but we're going to talk about that after we finish this example. So I'm going to select all these objects. I'm going to click on Create Prefab, and I'm going to call this tutorial L corner. You can, so for the destination folder, you can just drag and drop a folder from your project and then click on create. Prefab successfully created, click OK. And then you have to take this tutorial L corner and drag and drop it right here in the example prefab field. And notice what happens is as soon as you do that, the plugin automatically detects the wall pieces, and it assigns the prefabs to the wall segment, inner corner, and outer corner slots. Okay, so now we can start using the wall spawn tool. Make sure, so we have the profile that we have set up here is the default profile, which is also the selected profile here. That's great. It means we can actually start spawning walls. So let's go ahead and start walling off this region. So I'm gonna enable grid snap climb. Okay, so we can climb on the walls, rotate. Now, if you make a mistake, you can hold down Shift and right click to go back, right? And then Shift plus left click to commit. And as you can see, we have a nice looking wall that surrounds this region. We can see the inner corners, the outer corners, everything looks nice. Okay, so we're gonna leave it like this. And now I'm gonna show you a different type of wall, and I'm gonna move on to this region right here. So in case the pack that you're working with doesn't have dedicated L corner prefabs, you can still use this feature. And I'm gonna switch to a different asset pack. I'm gonna use something from Cinti. I'm gonna drag and drop it right here in the prefab library manager, and I'm gonna click on the walls. And as before, we need to create the example prefab. Switch to selection mode, or you can also switch to modular snapping, but I find selection to be a lot easier in this case. So I'm gonna drag and drop one of these walls right here. This one, actually we can use this as a variation, so let's actually not use this. Let's use a flat one, and we can use that as a variation. Okay. Okay. And again, Control D to duplicate, D to enable snapping, and place it. Okay. Now, if you ever find that the pieces don't snap, that they don't snap well to the grid, you have trouble creating the wall structure, you can go to Tools, GSpawn, Windows, Grid Settings, and you can change the cell size. By default, it's set to 1. This should work in most cases, but sometimes it doesn't. So you can try 0.75, 0.5, or 0.25. Those are the usual values that work really well. Okay. So now I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to go to create prefab, and I'm going to call it tutorial segments. Create. I'm going to create a new profile. I'm going to call it segments. I'm going to drag and drop the tutorial segments example prefab in the example prefab field. And now let's see. Make sure you select the new profile that we've created. And now we should be able to spawn this. Now, there will be an issue, which is intentional right now. So I'm going to spawn only a few prefabs, not the entire thing. Notice that there are gaps between the wall pieces, right? The reason why this happens is because we have these decorations at the edges. I mean, the bricks kind of stick out from the edges. So in order to fix that, we have to check the truncate forward size, and now it should work properly. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. Now notice that we have these kind of like, gaps, especially in the outer corner. So in order to fix that, we're going to use pillars. All right, so we're going to go here, and we're going to search for inner. Okay, this is for the inner, and this is for the outer. So we're going to place an inner pillar here. Select it, press D to enable snapping, Y to rotate. I don't know how this is supposed to be used. I suppose something like this. Yeah, it sticks out from behind, but it looks good from from here. So I suppose this is how it's meant, how the prefab is supposed to be used. Okay, and now let's also place the outer corner one. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, so now let's select all of these again. But before we continue, actually select these two. In fact, you don't need to select them, but the idea is that these two pillar objects, they need to be marked with the wall pillar tag. So both of these, you have to go to this field right here and set it to wall pillar. Okay, now we have all these objects selected. Go to create prefab and go to tutorial, and let's call it tutorial segments 2 pillars. Click on create. Okay. Let's create a new profile. Segments 2 pillars. Create. And drag and drop the tutorial segments 2 pillar right here in the example prefab field. Check truncate forward size as before, and also spawn pillars. We also need to check the spawn pillars. And now let's try again. So if you activate the wall spawn tool and you don't see the spawn guide in the scene, you have to just double click on any prefab in the prefab manager, like any prefab will do. Okay, so let's spawn. Again, if you make a mistake, hold down shift and double click. Not double click, I mean right click. Shift plus right click. Sorry about that. Yeah. I accidentally pressed shift plus left click. And we don't see the pillars, and the reason why we don't see the pillars is because we haven't selected the modular wall prefab profile here. So I'm gonna undo, select segments to pillars, and I'm really sorry about this. Yeah. Let's just close this off one more time. Shift left click, and there you go. Now we have the pillars. You can see the outer corner pillar, the inner corner one, and so on. Okay. Now something else that I would like to show you. So we're gonna go back to these guys right here. You can use pillars even if you have, so also when you have the L corner prefabs, you can also use pillars. Now these prefabs weren't really designed for that. What's this guy doing here? Let's delete it. But just for the purposes of this demonstration, I would like to also show you that, right? So let's go ahead and delete all of these. I'm going to press Shift A to select all similar prefabs, delete. Again, Shift A, delete, Shift A, delete. Okay. Yeah, that was actually kind of a bad idea because it also deleted the example prefab. So I'm going to undo, and I'm going to leave these pieces here, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to go to modular dungeons, and we're going to go to columns, and let's find something like a tall one. This looks okay. So yeah, this is not the way that these prefabs are supposed to be used, but again, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to use this. Oh, okay, we have a tall one right here, which actually I kind of like a lot better. Okay, so we're gonna use this one. Okay, now this doesn't really snap properly for the outer corner because it wasn't designed for this purpose. So let's just trick it. Let's just pretend that this is okay, right? It looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm gonna select all of these, and I'm gonna click on create prefab, L corner, create. And I'm gonna switch back to the default configuration, to the default prefab profile, and I'm going to drag and drop the tutorial L corner 2 pillars. In fact, before we do that, we have to select these two objects, press Shift C, and that will select it in the prefab manager, and make sure we have the wall pillar tag set here. And now we can drag and drop the example prefab. Great. So now we can test this out. We can see if it works. Switch to default. Just a simple example to see if it actually, yeah, there you go. Okay. So we could, for example, now replace all of these. Also delete these. And let's just try this out. Shift left click, and there you go. Okay, now one last thing I want to show you is, I don't know what this guy is doing here. Okay, so you can see we have these slots. We have wall segment, inner corner, and outer corner, right? These slots actually allow you to assign multiple prefabs. So if you can have different prefabs per slot, that means that you can have you can create more variation. So for example, for the wall segment, we could go to walls and arches, search for wall, and we can look for damaged versions. We have here 2 damaged versions of the wall segment, so I'm going to drag and drop them right here, and I'm going to do the same thing for the outer corner, and the same thing for the inner corner. All right, so what I'm also going to do is I'm going to make sure that the damaged versions have a smaller chance of being spawned. So I'm going to say something like 0.3, and let's do the same with the inner and outer corners. Let's say 0.4 and 0.5, something like this, right? And then we'll see how it works. Now we're not going to wall this off. I'm just going to use a really, I'm going to place them straight on the grid in this case. I just want to show you how this works. Yeah, so you can see that we have damaged versions of the wall segment. Here we have a damaged inner corner. Let's see if we can find a damaged outer corner. We should have one of those two. Like, there you go. There it is. Yeah. All right. Now, if you can also just, if you don't like how this looks like, for example, maybe you want to replace this with a damaged version, you can just click on it and then press Alt and then click on use prefab replacement. So if you hold down Alt and left click on a prefab in the prefab manager, it will replace the selection with the prefab that you click on. Same, we can do the same here. Is this an outer corner? Yes, but it's actually the other way around. Yeah, so I've actually inverted the, yeah. I thought so the intention was for this to be the inner area, but the way I've constructed it, this is actually the outer area and this is the inner area, right? Okay, so that's about it. That's what I wanted to show you. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you find this feature handy. Bye.